once again. Been a minute, you know, as it happens. You know, I gotta say, like, every time that I'm going and setting this up, I'm kind of setting this up in the morning here, I always end up hearing that intro again, where, like, they're going over the whole dramatic backstory and whatever else, like, oh, he got all the peoples together and encouraged them all to start marrying each other, and I'm just imagining, like, the dude sitting there and all his ridiculous armor and everything. It's like, yeah, you too, come on, okay, you know you want to... Okay, no, I'm not trying to be weird. I'm just saying you too, right? We gotta stop a war. You gotta do it. Just sitting there in the corner. Alright, so, before we actually get on with things, I noticed that there was a kind of thing I forgot, that I need to go take care of Amish. Because, yeah, if we don't take care of Amish before we do this, I'm fairly certain that Azelston is just dead. So that's not a fun time for anyone. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Thing is, I need to get him up to level 24 now, so... way to go, stupid. Okay, so, what we can do is switch him over to a knight, or... Actually, I think the knight would be the perfect option for this. I am wasting a white knight mark, but with any luck, I should only need one more. So, basically what I'm thinking is, I switch over to knight, I give it a couple fights to level it up to 24, because I believe that's the minimum level for Amish. Why they have such a freakishly high minimum level for Amish, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of folks had that whole thing, like, oh man, I just fought all these wars, whatever, let's go do a side mission. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, these pirates are apparently the most elite frickin' thing on the island. It's like, literally, the pirates come in at a higher level than the last boss, so that's... I mean, however you want to balance it there, Matsuno. Anyway, so... so what I'm thinking is, yeah, we should probably only need one more, because I switch over to Knight, then switch back to White Knight. It is a waste of that mark. I could, I guess, just run the White Knight here, but the thing is, Aegis is just a really good ability. And he can't really use it. I don't think, anyway. Anywho, you know, we might as well just level up the White Knight for the time being. Alright. To Farumpa we go. Into the woods to go stab a bird or two. Alright, now I believe these guys can use... They can't use either of the katanas. Okay. So much for that little plan there. So probably best bet is going to be running 1-8ers here. Just do all that kind of business, because we're definitely going to run into casters and things, and, well, want to have some defensive options on hand, so there we go. Go ahead and get this done. Because, yeah, get up to 24. There's a lot more getting levels up in this run than I actually expected to do. Because really, I expected to just level cheese most of the main story and everything. Just because the first time through, like, I should probably explain that a little better here. So in the mod, you actually get access to all of your Chapter 4 like good equipment right at the very right at the start. Well, not at the start, but at the end of Chapter 4. Whereas in the original, you had to actually beat the game to go get all that stuff. Which is weird, because usually that's right at the point where it's kind of already getting obsolete. But anywho, as far as the mod goes, I don't really think there's too much I need in that in the store at this point. But it certainly wouldn't hurt to check. And hello there, good morning, Mr. Proco. How's it going? Are you feeling both professional and bovine today? Hopefully so. We're over here slapping some birdies with a sword, as you do. But yeah, currently trying to go set up a fight against the world's most overleveled pirates. Because okay, so Mr. Procow, this one that we're training for, you know, you played the War of the Lions remake of FFT, right? Like, basically I'm gonna assume you did, but you know the one where you recruit what's his face, Balthier? No? No! Dang it! Okay, I think that was... Hang on. I think that was in that chip that was sent out. Which, by the way, speaking of, I have another one that I got made. So the chip itself is made. I'm just waiting for the adapter. Just FYI. But anyway. Okay, well, so much for that comparison then. I was gonna say, the Azelston fight, like, there's a bunch of one-to-one comparisons with FFT, because when they... Like, okay, so they had this one, then they took FFT, and there were a bunch of moments of, like, this is Tactics Ogre right over here. And then... After that, there were a bunch of moments of of going back through through this one. It's like, oh, they added some FFT in here too. And so one of those moments, yeah, we can just one-shot this guy basically, and Venom will take him out in a couple ticks. There we go. Man, I love that move. Let's see, just sub with Twitch Prime, I think. Oh, well, oh, awesome, thank you. I don't wait. Why didn't it show up? Sorry about that. That's weird. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Cow. I appreciate it. Oh, oops, sorry for the squeaky thing. Apparently I got a squeaky toy in my chair. The puppy's squeaky toys are everywhere at the moment. Anyway, but yeah, what I was going to say is that, yeah, there's a bunch of moments in this one that are basically like, oh yeah, this is that moment from FFT. Like, you know, with oh, right, I forgot, by the way, 94B, or 945B of the mod just released as well. Just released last night. So basically it's related to what I was talking about because there's the character that's basically Agrius that they added to this game, who's, well, her whole shtick was basically, she's like, oh, you know, she doesn't fit with either group, but she's 100% Agrius in every other way. But she was given a class to basically reflect her whole status as that. But yeah, she in the last patch, she was given the class, but there wasn't really a way to have her as it. So now she essentially comes in as her class for her fights. She doesn't actually join you as her class, but you can at least steal the licenses to turn her into it. Anywho, massive tangent aside, what I was trying to say originally is that, yeah, the Azilston fight in this one is basically the Balthier fight from War of the Lions, where it's just like, oh, look, there's a pirate guy, and he's surrounded in a, you know, in a town here, and they're doing all their big bravado stuff, except they did it weird. Like, I'm assuming that's why they gave him such a bizarrely high minimum level for that fight, because, again, like, you've been, at the point where that fight becomes available, you have just claimed control of like 80% of the island. Like, you control most of the armies. The whole plot is basically like, okay, there's one faction left. Let's go, you know, curb stomp those a-holes, and that's it. And then yeah, you walk into this little port town, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you do 1 damage to pirates. So yeah, it's one of those moments. But anywho, yeah, it was definitely balanced a little bit better than the original idea of that fight in FFT there. I mean, I guess it's not really an original idea there either, but you know what I mean. It's clearly what they were trying to emulate there. So yeah, that's always a fun time. Unfortunately, his whole thing is just he's a raging alcoholic, and well, then he just sees like a little kid get shot in the face, and he's like, oh, that just happens all the time, time to drink some more, and then he gets hired. And then you talk about flowers, because what else would you talk about with a pirate? But yeah, no, the Balthier thing was a decent bit cooler. Because it's funny, because I don't remember too much out of War of the Lions. I didn't even know about the multiplayer mode until Vale was going on about it. But that one line of, like, you know, I think it's like, try if you want to, I guarantee you my bullet's faster. It's like, that's just such a cool line, but oh well. Anywho, yeah, it's kind of cliched, but whatever. So, I don't know, I thought it was cool. Also, I guess it's partially because, just because you could get them in FFTA too, also. This little wizard man is a douche. Stop rolling your 40%. But anyway, so the max level hasn't really been adjusted for this fight yet, so, you know, it's probably a decent ways off. Currently, there's Law and Chaos for Chapter 2 that have been done. Oh my goodness, screw this guy, honestly. Like, excuse me while I hit you friggin' what, is it like 4 times in a row with Bind? Well, nothing we can do but sit here, because they can't do damage, and we can't reach them. So, guess we're just sitting around for a hot minute. Oh really? You're gonna slow us down even more, huh? That time you didn't roll your 40%. I should probably consider seeing if there's a way to get a class with Liberate. Also, here you go. Now you're not doing anything. Alright, Mr. 1 damage archer. Funny part is, so, if you're wondering why in the hell this guy's doing 1 damage, so he's basically running a short bow, so basically really low armor penetration, decent bit of damage if they can get going. But A, he's lower level, and B, just the fact that we've got really high armor threshold from all this stuff. Like, if I didn't have the shield, he'd probably be doing 10 or so. If I had lighter armor, he'd probably be doing 30 or so. If it was super light armor, he'd probably be doing like 50 or 60, but he's only doing 1 because we are 100% protected from it with that shield. Well, unless he uses a finisher. Now he only has to use, like, what, 10 more of those? Then we gotta worry about it. Or not, because we always got one of these. There we go. Use every finisher in one fight. Why not? But anyways, what was I even going on about originally? I don't know. But current goal is just to get Aslyston. So I want to recruit Aslyston. I want to recruit Ravnus. They're not going to be used, but just kind of for the purposes of having them there. Let's go ahead to Field of Fallen Shadow. Actually, that shouldn't count as a retreat. Let me double check for sure. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. So, Mr. Cow, how's life treating you on your end? Is it at least semi-decent? How's the new home? Are you settling in? You're okay if I talk about that, right? Meh? Aw. Meh's not good! What's meh? Why did meh occur? Oh, actually, funny thing. So 2 days ago, I got an email. Like, oh, hi. Did you finish your stuff there? Hang on. One quick moment. Alright. Hi there, Dagar. So you just stopped by real quick to say hello, wish you a nice day before we go back to watching the latest XDiv stream recording. Yeah, those got a little bit rough. By the way, there was an interesting development to that I actually was... so there were updates, right? There were updates to XDiv, I should say... exclusive updates, I guess? So Sharon kept mentioning that... it kept saying to stop using the flamethrowers, they're ruining the fun, whatever else. And you know what? I wasn't entirely sure what he meant, but he sent over a patch. The patch basically nerfed the flamethrowers to be a kind of more appropriate thing. So basically what they nerfed them was from, like, the original would get rid of original enemies, but it couldn't do much against 2. The second ones could get rid of 2s, but were only slightly effective against 3s. And then the third one is just like, it vaporizes everything. So instead, it seems like he's rebalanced it to where it's, where it's basically doing the same thing, where it's like, it's good against 3s, but then it doesn't do much against 4s, which feels a lot more appropriate in the very limited time that I tested it. So whenever the next one is, like, I was really throwing it back and forth today over which one to do, because then last night, when Vision comes out with another update, so I was like, man, why is everybody updating on the same day? But no, but I felt like this was the more major of the 2 updates, so here we are. And, wanted to do more OV for a little bit here. But yeah, this one got one of its units redone. Alright, I need these guys to be shut down. This'll shut down one, this'll go ahead and kill off the other. Goodbye, birdie. But yeah, there's, I think, like 4 of those in the pipeline at this point. So don't be too surprised if there's a decent chunk of them. I should probably put them as unlisted on the playlist, huh? Like, the only reason that I don't pop them all up at once is, I think I've mentioned this before, but it's just every time that I do that, somebody gets annoyed. If I don't, like, balance them all out, people get annoyed and leave. Like, it's part of the reason that that I don't do Armored Core stuff as often, because for whatever reason, every time I put up an Armored Core thing, like, there's just the immediate assumption, like, oh, that's all they do now, okay, bye, and then just, like, 12 people leave. I was like, I don't understand. I didn't give up on everything because there's robots all of a sudden. But, oh well. So you don't use flamers anyway, so that's not really important to me, but looking at Sharon's little tweaks with more and more skepticism, since they seem to stem from his personal experience, and what we 3 Let's Players are doing. I don't know, I think it's fun. Personally, I'd say okay, so the ones that he's put out there, aside from, like, kind of next to the official ones, so from what I know of, and I don't know what he's sent to you in particular, what he sent to me, or what I was kind of sent there, was, first of all, it was the one that introduced shock damage, which, yes. That mechanic I absolutely love, and I'm fairly certain that's meant to be, like, official for the mod at this point. The other thing was the increase in timing when it came to the phases towards, I think it was like the increase in how long it took to do Phase 2. I mean, could take or leave that. I would say, you know, we were in Phase 2 for a decent chunk. It was way more than enough time to get ready. But apparently other folks have, you know, were having issues getting all that together. But then at the same time, the only reason that everything got together so well was because of an early base raid. So my experience on that would be completely different from somebody that didn't do that. Because they would have been fishing for those researchers the whole time there instead of just getting them all in one massive load. Which is what I was trying to do with the base raid there, but or with the fort raid rather, because it's, you know, it's been 2 pulled off raids at this point. I still think it's possible. It's, you know, let's see, have 1.011 with shock and prolonged phase 2s and 3s, which was an adaptation from his NG+2 run where he felt he had a little too much time in P2. Yeah, honestly, I would say, like I was saying earlier, it's phase 2 did last a decently long time. Like, I was able to get every single research, and then, like, 2 or 3 months of just collecting resources. It's why I had so much crap going into Phase 3 and 4, and why I was able to spare the resources to go friggin' fail a base raid and fully equipped units, like, what is it, 8 or 9 times now? Like, it was pretty nuts. Had, you know, had fibers in the thousands, had friggin' alloys in the hundreds, and granted, most of that ended up burning through, but even still, it's still going pretty steady. So, I don't know. Everyone's experience may vary. So, what was your experience with P2? I mean, you're still in P2, aren't you? But yeah, that latest one with the flamethrowers, like... Okay, so I should probably explain. The reason that the flamethrowers were kind of a weird... You're in P1 still. Oh, that's 6 days from P2. Oh. Well, you're in for a fun time. But yeah, no, with Phase 2, just so you know, if you ever want to just start cheesing the hell out of it, shock rockets. There's almost nothing that can survive a single shock rocket in Phase 2, and you can just collect resources like nothing. Like... pretty much, I think you were watching it, but, I mean, like, every mission, it was just, like, step outside the dropship, hit everything with a shock rocket. It's like resources out the wazoo, basically. Gives you a really, really strong start. Also, I'm not really sure what it is that makes the AI use their HP infusion or not. Because when I was setting Denim to use it, he refused to use it, but this guy's using it just fine, so what gives? Ah, well. So he has Purify. Probably shouldn't have wasted the finisher on him then. Also, he's got Envenom, so it actually won't fix his problems. So you're looking at the rockets, but also the shock weapons here. Yeah, those are definitely a bit more plinky as time goes on. It's like the shock weapons in general have that awkward position the whole time where they're useful against unarmored things, like really, really useful in certain situations, but then almost worthless in all the rest of them. Like the last few, so right now I'm in Phase 3. The last few I've been going through and like raiding a bunch of Andron UFOs in particular, because you can just give shields and shock pistols, and it's like a pistol that does anywhere between like 5 to 150 damage to robots. It's like it's just a complete and utter who the hell knows. This will either blow everything away or do nothing. So yeah, it's interesting how that goes. And I think it's just because the EMP, I think, scales like 10 times damage or some crap against robots. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it certainly feels that way. But either dang way, that's kind of how it goes. Right now I'm just going to take a quick little detour through the right side here. just to see what we can get. Oh crap, I forgot to pick up that 1H Katana book last time. Oh wait, right, I couldn't pick it up. That's right. That's right, that's right. I need to go back with Heavy Knights. I think that's what we'll do. See, I don't think that's how it works. They still have shock resistance. Damage numbers should only scale from 0.5 to 1.5. Okay. So yeah, I don't know how all that damage works. All I know is shock pistols fire really fast, and they can do up to 150 even against like Phase 3 Androns. And then they end up bouncing off of they end up bouncing largely off of Phase 4s until you hit them with like a minigun or something. Yeah, the Phase 4 Androns are kind of just a walking wall of punishment. Like at that point, you're honestly better off just not fighting them whatsoever. Which is funny because, you know, was cheesing the hell out of them in the first campaign. But it's like they can be cheesed, but good lord, if you want to actually win, you're gonna be in for a while. It's gonna take some time. Though I will say, a lot of the Phase 2 stuff, if you end up getting all of it, does seem to hold up surprisingly well. Like the whole shock rocket method. Would recommend that just because of some of the more obscure researches that you can get. Because if I'm understanding this correctly, every time that you pick up a what am I getting at here? Every time that you pick up one of the like cruise commanders or whatever else, you know, like the kind of off leaders, as it were, that you have a chance to roll a particular research tree. And as far as I've seen, like I ended up getting a bunch of really good stuff, like the minigun 2s, the laser minigun 2s. Those still hold up in Phase 4. Honestly, they're probably as far as I've seen, they're probably the best value for your resources, even. Because you can get stuff like the mag mini, or is it the mag? Yeah, you can get like the mag 3 minigun by that point, and it's good. Like it's really, really good. I think it's like 3,200 damage or some crap, but yeah, it's just that thing takes. What is it, like 36 cores in total to actually put together, whereas the Laser 2 takes, I think, 4 or 6 or something of the energy cores, which are way more plentiful. Let's see. As far as I know, kinetic and energy, which are the main damage types, reduce every armor type, so that's logical. No, if you hit with energy or kinetic, they will reduce both energy and kinetic. Gas and, or let's see, chemical and. What is it? Chemical, gas, and fire resistance can't change. It just is how it is. There we go. Alright. Take another swing at this guy. Then move over this way, because we should be able to crit that archer. We should be able to finish off the swordmaster. One rending gale should be enough to finish up almost anything here. Let's see, not to make you envious, but I've researched Laser Everything Mark III already. It's locked away behind data hacks from specialist captures. Yeah, I have no idea how you did that, because I thought I got all of them. Like, I literally... What was it? It must have been like 50 UFOs in a row. Went through and just captured every single frickin' thing on board, so I have no clue how that works. Alright, let's finish off this guy and hope we have enough health to continue on. I'm gonna go ahead and move up here so it's a little safer. But yeah, if I could get Laser 3, that would have solved a lot of problems. I think what I'm probably going to do is go back to capturing more stuff, see if we can finally get more researches, because I haven't gotten any more for a decent while. Part of it was because of the whole flamethrower thing, but part of it was also because shock rockets stopped being effective. Cesians give lasers, civilians give kinetic Mark 3. I have kinetic Mark 3, please miss. Crap. Let's see, I have everyone safe for base attackers from Cesians, yeah. I have a feeling I have everyone safe too. Like the axes, surprisingly the axes still work very well up until Phase 4. I don't remember if you were there for it, but there was a little bit where I was just cheesing wraiths. So basically, after you get to the point where wraiths show up, you can go to any Cesian base, and you keep re-rolling until you get that one base with one room, and then just you use a car or something to block off the door, and you just let them teleport in, and you just run at them with axes. What's funny is that it accidentally multiplies them, so I don't even know how many I was supposed to have to begin with. Because I think I had made maybe 30 or 40, because I went and spent a decent chunk of the chitin I had built up, just, to build more axes, and kind of have that as a justified thing before somebody says that, hey, you're cheesing infinite weapons, basically. Because that is an exploit that exploits itself. Basically, yeah, every time that you go in with axes, you get 2 back. So what was happening is that, yeah, I was going into that fight, was essentially getting 2 axes back for everyone that I brought along, which resulted in about 200 axes just kind of sitting around now. So you have 1 axe Mark II, but I'm making sure not to have more than I produced. Yeah, I mean, they'll eventually multiply just on accident, so I just figured just make as many as you can reasonably make at one point, and then just kind of call it good enough. It's not like they're so overpowered that, they're gonna go dominate the entire game or anything, but it's at least an exploit that's there, and it does itself. Which, honestly, doesn't happen that often. See, I only had 1 mission with them. I intentionally dropped the duplicate. Even if you drop the duplicate, sometimes it'll dupe them anyway. Like, if you go on a mission and you have an axe and you abort that mission, you automatically get a duplicate of that axe. I'm not sure why. So he did not come back to base. Okay. I mean, like, yeah, if you drop them all over the place, yeah. But, again, it depends. Because when I was going and loading and aborting, just to reload those bases, that's when I noticed that they were just multiplying on their own. So it must be... Maybe if you have one equipped, it'll automatically duplicate it? Maybe? I'm not sure, because not everyone had their axes, like, actually in their hand. Because what I was trying to do was use axes and stun batons, but then that didn't end up working, because the axes pierce through armor instead of reducing it, so unless something already had armor and it got reduced by that swing, it actually wouldn't be able to be captured. But then I found out if you take a, like an auto shotty or something like that, and then hit something with a stun baton a couple times, that'll do the job. It's pretty neato that you can do that. That's funny. This map is actually pretty easy, but we're running into a weird situation with a very fast cleric. No, not my buffs. I only slightly needed those. Alright, driving cut. Probably gonna need to take a heel turn here. Yeah, apparently once you get the swords, they're very good. I haven't gotten those yet. And I'm thinking, I was kind of thinking of taking a step back on that one and going back to capturing stuff with shock rockets and things like that. Because I'm at a point where you can kind of just farm alloys, and once interceptors come in, I think those drop like 6 alloys a piece or something. Oh, what's up to you, Mr. Man? What you got there? Well, okay, you walk away all sassy like that, and I see how it is. But any dang ways, original point I was trying to get across is, yeah, this got an update. It's a neat update. Lets you do some new stuff. Let's see, since we're dialoguing XDiv here anyway, what do you think about a modded research system where you cannot be sure of what you get out of it? Like you tell them to come up with an improved laser weapon, but instead they're randomly getting better laser-based stun grenades or whatever? Thinking about devising such a system to mod onto Xeno 2 someday? That would be a dream come true, to be honest. I would absolutely love that. Because, like, XDiv is about the closest that we have to that currently. It already kind of uses a soft version of that, but it would be awesome. Like, I've actually been saying for a while that it would be really, really nice to have a lot more randomization as far as the research and stuff goes. Just because, yeah, obviously it's kind of a chaotic field to begin with. You know, in real life they're always coming up with weird alternate uses for stuff, like, hey, maybe you tell them to go and invent a way to, you know, friggin' communicate with people in space, and they accidentally create a way to cook food. So, you know, maybe, like, there could be a bunch of duds, as it were. And then you just have all these little researchers around all over the place. They're like, oh, you know, we tried to invent a new type of shotgun, but we accidentally created the world's most amazing confetti launcher, and now morale is through the roof. Like, you know, there's options. There's a ton of options on what they could do with that. I just feel like it would be a really nice way to make it rewarding without making it frustrating. Because right now, like, Phase 2, I would say around Phase 2 is when I was enjoying XDiv the most. And with that whole thing where it started looking like the only viable option was just to go through with, you know, flamethrowers and whatever else, that's when well, when there was no research on hand, whatever else, like, yes, part of that is a complete fallacy just because of the way I was playing, but it's just, I feel like that was that moment where you start feeling like it's more about the numbers than about trying to adapt to the game and whatever else. That's when it starts kind of feeling a bit burnouty, as it were. So you were tweaking your pistol to take more ammo, which they achieved, but it could also reload slower, and you could put together a standard pistol from any of the outcomes. Yeah, that'd be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Like, the games are already chaotic, and a little bit more chaos would, you know, it can only help. Like, recently, almost had that feeling with XDiv again with, like, capturing, I think it was like a Wraith or something like that, which resulted in, for whatever reason, unlocking a different kind... Or, no, it was, I think it was like a blood cannon or something. And it gave a different kind of chemical grenade, and I was like, oh, you know, there's a new thing all of a sudden. New crap got made! And it's like, okay, I'll never use this, but it's cool that it's there. So, I feel like there maybe needed to be more researches in Phase 3. Then again, you know, I am missing a lot of the specialists because they get really frustrating to capture. Not really frustrating so much as just you gotta line everything up just right. Because I kept running into specialists, and it's like, okay, let me go capture this guy. Oh wait, there's like 50,000 dudes to deal with first. And then, you know, you go deal with that, and then you gotta suddenly take out the specialist because you can't really do anything else. Like, you can't safely get out or do whatever. That's not always accurate, but, you know, in general, it's a lot more common. And I wish this guy's poison tick would finally go before this dang, like, speed healer would move. As I'm trying to go upwards here. To kind of get away from this stupid situation that they've got here. This guy's just hitting and throwing down phalanx over and over, which is just preventing me from moving anywhere. Alright, if I do... Come on, give me my turn. No, I can't believe it. Their healer's gonna move again. Stop being so fast! Anyway. Alright. Sounds good. I'll see you soon, Dagar. I'll add those other ones to the playlist, by the way. Just so that they're there. Alright, and I'm sick of dealing with this knight, so he goes bye-bye. Go ahead and take a nap, sir. This guy inexplicably doesn't fall asleep. What's the deal with that? Yeah, what is your deal? Why are you sleep immune? Huh? Oh, it's because he's poisoned. Okay. Yeah, poison gives you sleep immunity. Please miss. Crap. Well, at least he's gone. Okay. Okay. Little girly saying okay over here. Alright. Upwards and onwards. It's funny, I had my first my first retail day yesterday. It was an interesting time. Alright, yeah, healer guy's just gonna keep healing this guy over and over. I'm gonna see about running down there. Kinda take care of his shenanigans. And actually, speaking of shenanigans, there's a bunch of, it turns out there's actually, movement, what am I saying? Movement shoes and things like that. They're actually available, earlier in the game now. I didn't really realize until I was recently doing a, test save. But yeah, there's actually, like, greased boots that show up in, the law route now. I think, he said that there was, thought to add some, lava boots and things like that, just to give you more traversal options. Okay. So, onwards then. Answer here seems pretty simple. Knight guy can't reach me. Cleric guy can't do very much, aside from that. It's kind of awesome that they spawn in with whips now. It's actually a funnily practical option for them. Alright. Let's see, one should sort him out. Almost. And that won't quite do it, but you know what? It'll be enough over time to kind of wear him down. Might as well. Alright, yeah, and yeah, if we drop a consecrate, we should be okay here. Alright, Mr. Priesty Man. Alright, what are we doing here? These guys are getting obnoxiously good at protecting their dude here. Alright, if we do one of those, won't be enough to finish anyone. Same with that. Because they're all tanky sorts. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to hope that we can convince one of them to go to the back here. I'm going to use the last healing item here. Okay. So let's see, if I put them there, then they wouldn't be able to move. So let's just face that way. Hope they attack the back. Should hopefully take that bait, because all I need is at least that knight guy to move. I mean, this guy should attack and move. It's okay, I guess not. Might be able to Papillon reel here, because he just put himself in range. But yeah, I'm almost wondering if these guys seriously need a nerf or something. Not a nerf in terms of their abilities, but I just mean like in terms of speed. They always okay. This will change over time because the random battles and things like that haven't been adjusted. But yeah, clerics are just very, very obnoxious with their speed. More often than not, they can just kind of completely ignore everything else and heal twice in one turn. Which, from the original game and stuff like that, it's kind of a cool balance, but it does get a little dicey. I guess for most cases it's fine. Yeah, no, you know what, it's probably fine. No, stop being stopped! Alright. Hopefully, if we get a crit here, we can just finish him off. I would like to spend those points on a phalanx to lock these guys away, but no can't have such a luxury right now. There we go. He's gone. Finally. That only took forever. Okay. So all we gotta do now is just finish these guys off, because they can't recover anymore, which is just nice. Guy over there is probably going to try to do a Dispel, but we're getting a decent amount of extra stats off of all these cards that keep dropping, so that's nice. Getting money, getting cards, it's a good time. So eventually we'll get to Azelston, then after that we should be able to continue on with the story. So I'm actually kind of glad that I got a little bit stuck last time then. Because if it hadn't been for getting a little bit walled, well, I'd be in a little bit of a pickle right now. As I wouldn't be able to get the Buccaneer up until Palace of the Dead. Also, we'll be able to test out those blue enemies, because the blue ones apparently have their skill sets opened up a little bit. So we'll see what that means exactly. I like this move. I like this move. It's a very handy move. Moan, you annoyingly sturdy bastard. Yeah, fencers are definitely one of those things that make endgame a little bit harder to deal with. Like, once they get all their abilities going, they can just recover like nobody's business. Which normally wouldn't be too much of a problem, because it's just them, and a lot of times they come in heavy gear, so they're on the slower end of things, but when you're surrounded and they're going around, like, throwing out purifies left and right, it's like, just friggin' die! Just friggin' die already! And then they just refuse to do that. Because they're rude. You know, that's how that goes. Alright. Let's go do Howling Hills, mostly just out of curiosity. I don't have access to my recovery options, so we can probably replace Field Elk with something else here, like Stop Ward. And we'll just kind of see how this one pans out. It's probably going to run down to dice rolls, because it's essentially just a bunch of flying back and forth. So yeah, they're the cast. Well, I say casters, but ninja casters should do next to nothing. I mean, it's an okay spawn, I think. If we roll parry enough, then we should be all right. Let's see if we got a dodge on hand. We sure do. Let's pop that sucker on there. Do ye old dodgy fun times. Alright. That's sort of a problem, but not too much of one. And dang side armors. Alright, she's dangerous. Probably going to be the most dangerous of the bunch, actually. But she probably won't turn on Terrifying Impact until the next turn here. Gives us time to go deal with this guy. Then we take one more counter from her. Because if I attack her now, there's a pretty decent chance she might have a finisher built up. And that would be a bad time, too. So, what we're going to do is she's going to take one more swing. We block it. We go ahead and finish her off from there. These guys keep throwing their axes. It's low enough damage and a low enough chance to hit that I'm not too worried, because they're not really getting through damage threshold here. There we go. Now she'll turn on Terrifying. Do you not have it? No, she has Fearful Impact. So, what's your deal? Why are you not turning that on? Like, either way, I need her gone. You can potentially spawn with like 3 Terror Knights on this one, which makes it a little bit of a problem. But, ooh, Minced Patty. Okay, that's actually a really good thing. So, if you didn't know, the food items are actually rare drops now. Well, I mean, you can get them later on in the end game, but for the purposes of this run, I can't recruit anything, so I can't necessarily get them. But on this map, they can actually drop. So that's pretty handy. Right, apparently the knight's not going to do anything. These guys are going to do something or other. Like, the funny part is that these ones, this fight will vary from being very easy to being nigh impossible, just depending entirely on how they spawn. It's a total crapshoot, and it's that way in both versions. I forget how much of it I included in the original vanilla run for this, but that mess took ages. Like, it took way too long. We're gonna finish off you. But yeah, I know Dragon Steaks can drop here. Apparently Minced Patties can drop here. ROV's not bad. At least it's money. I probably won't use Vigor Ring or any of that, especially with how all the stats have panned out this time. The blue necklace is probably just going to be what I'm going to stick to. Alright, I'm going to take one quick heal here. Just because I want to pick up this item in case it's anything amazing. This is probably one of the few maps that you really want to go pick up all your items. Nobleman's Fan, that's just some loot. I think it's like 800 bucks there. Since most of the fans are actually just treasure items now. Which I'm okay with. You know, I think there's only one time that I think I've looked at treasure items and just kind of copied items and thought, wow, this looks kind of lazy, actually. And in all disappointment, that was actually Outer Worlds that did that. Like, I love that game to pieces, but god dang, I wish it had less, like, repeated and junk items. Because, there's a lot of that. Like, to the point where most of the time, you know, don't end up reading a lot of the junk items or anything else, even for flavor text. They're just sort of there, you know. Just because there's so many. Everything just drops so much junk, and then you don't even get a choice to use it or not. Which I'd assume they probably would have maybe meant for them to be used for crafting or something. But then you get all your food items and, like, medicines and things like that. It's like you have your medicine thing here, but is it the right one? You know, you got like 4 different medicines from different brands that do the literal exact same thing. Which is kind of weird because also some of them are way more expensive than others. So, I don't know, I felt like that one kind of messed with the theme a little bit. As much as I still adore the game, it's just, it did bug me, kind of. Because it's like, you get one that's, it's like this company that specifically only does medicines and things like that, and they're supposed to have the best medicines out there, and then you get another, like, random trash item from the company that's basically the Walmart of space, and it's like, oh, look, they do the literal exact same thing, so why are they competing? Like, why would you ever buy the more expensive one, aside from the fact that you just kind of find them lying around everywhere? I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling that that one will hold up a bit better when it comes to challenge runs and things like that, though. Let's go shield smack that guy for the hell of it. Like, any of the folks here played Outer Worlds by chance? I realize it's kind of a quiet day, but figured I'd ask. Probably no sense in trying to silence her, huh? Alright, whatever. Whatever. Alright, bad blood on you. And we can focus on the other one, because that should finish her off no trouble. She'll take a few regular swings, get countered, then we can deal with Missy Ninja Face over here. Okay, fine. Fine, you just be that way. With your healing and your recovering. And the whole thing where I keep hitting the wrong button, apparently. Just running around shield smacking everyone. Why are you making me hit everybody wrong? Gah! Alright. Anywho. Shouldn't be too much longer after this, because it should be one more fight. I think, even though I think the minimum level is 24, we'll go ahead and try to run it, and just kind of see what happens. Alright, I want to prevent her from moving backwards and recovering, so we're going to go ahead and drop a phalanx right... not there. Because we can get stuck in hers without too much issue. If we put this one here, we should be able to reach both of them next round. Okay. Solid choice. Can't possibly go wrong. 55% chance of success, 100% guaranteed chance of death, but whatever. You do you! Dex it is. I mean, I guess, kind of to better explain what I was talking about there earlier with Outer Worlds. So, I think it's mostly kind of coming off the experience of New Vegas there, because, you know, there were a lot of either repeated or junk items in that one, but usually they were thematically interesting in some way. Like, for example, like you needed your healing items and whatever else, you know, you got some regular steak or something like that. It did a little bit. It did a decent chunk. Meats usually did in the 30 range. But then, you know, you go and you find an apple or something and it does a little bit less, or you find some water and, you know, it does like 10, but you find some, you know, some sugary drink and it does like 30, but it ends up making you, actually makes you thirstier. Like, that kind of stuff, you know? It's just like everything's got its own little quirks or whatever. Because so far with Outer Worlds, they're like, it's had that stuff, kind of, except every food item is just like, this is food item, it's 200% health regeneration, and that's it. Or you go to, you go get a drink or something like that. It's just like +1 to all body stats, and it's like, okay, that all of them are exactly the same. Like the grape juice, the water, the soda, all of them are the same. Actually, for some reason, milk is labeled as a caffeinated drink. Not really sure why, but what's funny is it's labeled as a caffeinated drink, but it doesn't count as a caffeinated drink for the purposes of making your character less sleepy and all that. So, I don't know what that's all about, but oh well. You know, weird stuff happens. So, okay, what are we looking at here? Anything new that I might want to consider? Probably not. See, divine-wise, what do we got here? Probably wouldn't hurt to pick these up for later. Especially evacuate will be pretty useful. Because I will be using all of these at some point. So while I got the cash on hand, might as well know them, right? Alright. More than likely, probably going to be running Art of War and Divine. But we'll see how stuff shakes out. Right. The whole reason I was doing that was to get more healing items, and I didn't pick up any. Good to go, genius. Alright. We need 30 for the Longinos. Dang, that'd be sweet to have, but oh well. We'll get there. In fact, we'll probably get there after the Elemental Temples, so I've decided that I'm probably going to go ahead and go for those. Well, I mean, for the purposes of the run, I gotta go do them anyway, because all bosses and all that. But, you know, we'll see. So I can't use that just yet. That's probably why we'll be using Lord later. Alright. 17 Mending Seeds, that should be enough. Let's hope. And let's give this a little bit of the old college try here. Come on, Azelston, don't die! That's going to be the secondary worry of this one. Because you kind of got to keep the bastard alive, and, well, he doesn't make that easy. I'll leave this cutscene in case anybody hasn't seen it. He's over here telling stories. Also, what's funny is that this would normally be, like, Tall Tales and things like that, but, like, this stuff's everywhere, so it makes you wonder why, But yeah, this guy's over here insulting this guy. Which, like, okay, so the thing is, if he hasn't seen any of these, like, mythical creatures and crap, what has he been doing? You can walk, like, 5 feet from this place and see him. Don't deny that you're a milker of cows. Love how all the cow stuff always seems to come up on stream lately. So everyone gets all hot-headed. Now, this guy's logic also in the original, right? Because normally, if you have a party behind you, they all show up. So this, so basically what they're seeing is, like, they're looking over and it's like, oh yeah, basically, like, the friggin' cops are here in full SWAT gear and whatever else, and they're like, nah, let's do this, let's extend this bar brawl to go fight, like, everybody over there. It's like, what is your plan? But then they decided to make them over-leveled, so I guess that was their plan. It's like, oh yeah, this dude's like owning the entire continent. Do we really want to get in with this? And his whole thought is, yeah, let's go fight the dude that just took over the island. It's like, for all intents and purposes, like, Alexander the Great shows up. Also, whoa. Wow. Doubt yours will need any help in this fight. He usually dies 2 rounds in. Alright. Plan here is relatively simple. Yeah, okay, he's at 21. You can come into this fight over-leveled, and I'm probably going to have to. I didn't pick up Siege. That would have been the first thing to make happen here. So Ragnar's the only one that has to go down here. So, okay. So if you're wondering what his deal is on why he's like blustering about like a complete douche, in the original, the fact that he had like rank 4 swords and rank 4 parry was relatively impressive, especially by this point. Actually, looks like he comes in with 3 and then 2 in guns, which he doesn't even know how to use, and then 3 in parry. Oh, right. No, scratch that. No, that's Lanza comes in with 4 parry and 4 swords. This guy comes in with 2, which I guess is, again, still relatively impressive, all things considered at this point. But he comes in at the same level they do. He usually lasts about 2 rounds, just gets himself killed. Now, if I can get close, we can make something happen here. The casters aren't really much to worry about. All we gotta do is get a full TP bar and hit the leader once, and that should sort out their problem. They don't have much in the way of healing, but we gotta hit this guy for 400, so that's always fun. One thing, though, is that he might end up using Blood Price, which would be very handy here. Alright, put on Fortify to take hits a little better. Alright, we should be at almost 100 here. There we go. That should have gotten us about, actually, 80 or so. Yeah, the way that this original fight would go, he always goes for that rogue because he's going to have the lowest defense. But usually he hits the guy once, takes a bunch of hits himself, finishes off one of them. Like either whether the Swordmaster there comes up or one of the rogues there. One time I saw her go after the Siren, but eh. But either way, usually by that point's when he's done. And even if you're coming in here with a full team, those 2 guys at the start of the bridge will usually keep you locked in there for a good long while. Because as you may have noticed, everyone's coming in with, well, it's all over the place. This guy comes in with full endgame stuff. Like Damask vests and things like that. Like, they're reasonably fancy. Alright, we're just going to take a heal turn here, except I forgot to put the item use thing back on. Good job, Numbnuts. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and put a Consecrate Edge here. It'll delay our turn a little bit, but should spread out their damage somewhat. Alright, come on. Roll some of your dodges, man. There's only so much I can do. This is actually one of those ones that I expected to be able to get the teleport ring before doing, but I mean, I guess it can be done now. So there's 4 steps to actually recruiting him. First step, you gotta get him right here. Second step, you gotta, which I believe only happens after you end up going and doing a little bit more story, is that you end up hearing about him again. You end up hearing about who he is, rather. Not who he is. And then from there, you go back, you have another talking cutscene with him, then after that, you go have a conversation about frickin' plants, and then after that, you gotta go down into the Pirate's Graveyard, you gotta save him again, after which point he's like, oh man, I guess fine, I'll join you or whatever. Alright, yeah, we might need a few more levels here to pull this off. It's not impossible, but I need to see how much charge I need to take out Ragnar here. Yeah, Diego is surviving reasonably well, I'll give him that much. Definitely far better than vanilla. The funny part is, I don't think he's actually been boosted at all, it's just a coincidence with his equipment. He's getting so many bonuses off it. Not that he's ever rolled his parry yet, but, you know. Alright, so I can do 131 there. If I do that one, it does 140. I mean, alright, we'll take one attacking turn, and then I believe if we drop a phalanx kind of off to the left there... No, what we're going to do is we're going to go here, we're going to drop a phalanx right over here. That'll prevent one tile of damage to him. He should hopefully survive one more round. We'll take some hits because he's unavailable, and then at that point, we should hopefully have enough charge to be able to just take him out with one swing. We'll see. Oh, for crap's sake. Never mind. That backfired. I mean, he's not wrong, he did let him die in this case. Alright, now, what we need are items. Definitely need those items. Alright, so skill-wise, what do we not need here? We might need phalanx. We don't need Aug Fire as much as we need something like, probably Aug Water. How do I not have Aug Water exactly? Alright, well, hope we don't need Stop Ward. Now we're gonna put items there instead, I figure. And back to Omesh. Yeah, let's speed it up a little bit. Get past that initial part. Yeah, it's really just kind of RNG whether you can get close to this guy or not. If this doesn't work out, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pick up what's it? I'm gonna pick up Siege. Should let us get close a little bit faster. And for that matter, we're gonna chump on some ginseng here. Gonna save the strengthen for the time being. Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, now all we gotta do is get close. That could not have gone better. Oh, you dick. Alright. Alright, well, we're pretty much maxed out on our bar here. All I need to do is get close. Because, yeah, if Ragnar's involved in any fighting whatsoever, and he ends up getting hit by bad blood here, that'll sort him out. Nice. Okay, he's doing his job. He's doing the thing! He's using his brain. Yeah, these guys love using their items. I feel like these guys might have had some different AI. There's certain types when, like when you see that they just start doing all kinds of different strategies there, that they're playing a lot more defensive, they're playing a lot more kind of attrition-y, and this one's certainly it. And they do end up using a lot more items here for whatever dang reason. This deck. Just got rid of 40 of my points. And yeah, despite Draconics counting as physical for the purposes of evade, they don't actually count for that. Alright, you finish using your items. Now, how much of this does this do to you? It does a decent chunk, but it doesn't poison him. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna need to get around him. So we get to about right here, then we drop a phalanx right about here. He can't go anywhere. Everybody else is forced to stay away and or stay one tile within within range here. Gonna speed up ahead, just because it turns. Probably gonna have to take a recovery turn, and then if he survives it, maybe we'll be able to counter hit Ragnar somewhat. We'll see. We actually might have to fight this through entirely. Yeah, what we need is a breach strengthen here. As long as I can stop getting hit by stuff for a second. Although I don't know if that can even hit with him doing that. Or if I'll even get a turn for that matter. Nope. Right, yeah, so breach strengthen's gonna be the way to do this. Certainly doable, though. More than likely I'll probably do in about the 370 range, give or take. If not, we'll go for something a bit stronger. And yeah, we're gonna do this on fast forward again, just to hopefully make it not take as long. Yeah, that's another thing with this guy's whole side quest, is it takes so very long. It's like so many of the fights have so many units on there that it just gets tedious. Like, especially once you get to the lizard fights later, and it's like, I'll fight these 30 lizards in this gigantic map. It's like, oh, no, stop. Can we maybe not, though? It's hilarious. Daughter's over here in the background trying to offer a little toy to the puppy. Puppy just wants a nap. Alright, so here's what we do. Go ahead and drop a Consecrate right here. I probably should have dropped a Phalanx, actually. No. Yeah, let's do that. So I just noticed, he can't really do any items if he can't even get there, so let's go ahead and drop that right there. Take another Ginseng. And yeah, we might be able to lock these guys down for several turns or more. Yeah, next turn we do Phalanx and block. Currently is at half health. Alright, this is still workable. So yeah, we do 213 before anything. We don't have Strengthen up right now. So we'll drop a Phalanx. Let's see, if we move here, we can drop a Phalanx to the right. If we drop right... No, if we drop right here, then they'll be locked down for a turn. We don't have to take a hit. We can take a heal turn, and then next turn we can do Breach. We can do Breach and Strengthen. Oh, you dick! Keep forgetting that's a thing. Alright. Let me heal him, please. If you could stop trying to get yourself killed, sir. I can't even heal him right now, actually. 'Cause, yeah, he's got a Evade on, which will prevent, God dang it. Alright. At the very least, we can test this. So it's permanently avoidance and resistance. Okay, that's pretty nice. Now, let's go ahead and breach you. Resist that. He'll die here. Just let me have my dang turn. Okay. The game is really, really against letting me test this. Let's do this. Come on. So we're gonna have to go spears then. We're gonna go two-handers. Alright, let's go two-handers. Problem is we gotta make this happen much faster. Alright, so we're gonna have to go helm and power armor. We'll see about getting siege next time if this doesn't work, but yeah. Alright, so new plan if going the two-hander route is just to completely sweep. Because we should be able to do AoE sweeps all over the place here. Like Swordmaster, Rogue, all of them, they should get one shot. How much does this do on you? Yeah, 223, it's not even kind of charged yet. Not even without a strengthen. Alright, we can finish this guy. So he's not a problem anymore. Let's see if we survive a turn. Yeah, they're all over me, though. So, actually, come to think of it, this could still work. If we stay on the edges, kind of just let them walk out, deal with them one at a time, deal with all the frontline guys, go maybe one-shot Ragnar. Yeah, let's do that. In fact, let's just go all in for strength here. If we put Ogre Light on here, that should give an extra solid chunk of damage, so we should be able to AoE instead of single target. And that's what we'll do. So we just sit here, heal, take counters, see how this goes. I got rid of the Ogre Light on the attacks, that's fine. You know what, actually we don't have counter 2, do we? That'd be a pretty major bonus right now. Could crit, that would take him out. Yeah, we definitely want a shield, though. Maybe with better armor. I could get really into training axes. Like, super late for that, but could be an option. Hello again, Mr. Cow. So first off, can we actually get counter 2 yet? Yeah, we already have counter 2, why are we not? When's counter 3 then? Oh, we need 25 for Rampart 3. Pick up Siege. Yeah, Time of Need could be handy for the future. But nobody else can use it, so it's not worth picking up. Right. Alright, what else do we have here? Maybe... So we could just go the Light Shield route. Go Silver Guards instead. Get a little bit of extra parry out of that. Maybe go a Helm instead for even more parry. Let's go maximum parry mode. Still need Siege, though. We can put down Phalanx, get Siege instead. Put Ogre Water back on there. So yeah, Ogre Water is just for boosting Bad Blood there. Siege just for getting by. We need to put a breach on him. Probably first order of business is dealing with the Swordmaster on the right. He might deal with the Swordmaster in the back. Should reduce the odds of him getting breach off of the guy. Though I think stagger technically counts as a higher tier debuff, so maybe it wouldn't matter. I don't know. Let's put some sidestep on here. So all the archers stop hitting us. Yeah, sure, just crit. Put them to sleep, but it wouldn't do the job. Right, there we go. Dude's gone. Thank you, sidestep. Got rid of my sidestep. If I can deal with the archers, maybe? Because now they're the ones tearing us apart. Also looking, you know what? I'm overlooking something super obvious here. That's alright. I know the answer to this. Yeah, no, I'm really overthinking this. There's a simple answer here. It's called he doesn't have to be part of the fight. Alright, fast forward through all this. Yes, archers are bad. That is a shame. Let's take our quick turn. Roll those parries. Hopefully get attacked on the right instead. There we go. Perfect. Not as perfect, but still doable. So what we're gonna do, we just gotta get close. We gotta wait till he's kind of getting low on health so that he can hopefully at least last out the fight somewhat. Okay, don't have Phalanx anymore. Let's put Consecrate Edge on here so that they decide to focus on me a little bit. Let's go ahead and put some of this stat type goodness in here. Perfect. Very good. okay. Never mind, RNG's being amazing this time. Maybe we won't have to do all that. Yeah, if I do Demon here... No, Demon won't be a good call here. Let's... How do we want to do this? We're going to have to drop a breach on him and hope that this will be a safe spot from the archers. So we're close enough to Diego to be able to teleport him out if we need to. Alright, that's a problem. Rude. Okay, what's left? Come on. What's left here? Two very good dodges. He's still technically breached at the moment. Oh, come on. All that amazing RNG, and then he crits for a finish right before my turn. Alright, let's do it again. This is doable. Yeah, I was hoping to have him take a few more hits so that I'd maybe be able to put some injuries on Ragnar there. But the easiest way to do this, and the way that we should have done from the beginning, I go in, basically evacuate him, and then we just basically run down to the bridges here, just run around taking out all the squishy stuff. Probably take out the rogue first, because it's the one going around throwing out all those extra moves, get rid of the archers, basically take a bunch of tiles where everybody can only step onto one tile, keep running around and healing. And then probably redo a couple times because we'll probably need more healing items, and I don't know how many we'll need exactly. Did I not put Siege on or something? This doesn't seem like a situation where Siege would even help too much, but... Okay, that's great edge. Give me that crit. Ah. One could hope, yeah? Hello there, Sadabo. How's it going? We're trying to get a pirate at a point in the game when... Well, god dang it. What is the deal with the overpowered pirates? Man, there's so much... It's funny because they're so much crappier than they were in Vanilla 2. Like, it's really something else. I don't know what they were thinking with this fight. The only thing I can think of is, I've mentioned several times that there was an interview that they did where they're like, oh, you know, we went through the forums and we got everybody's feedback and wanted to see where everything was, and, like, this goes basically a DLC character. So they probably were going through with, like, looking through all of the Japanese power gamers and things like that. They're like, oh man, you're like level 50 by the end of Chapter 1. You know, let's go ahead and scale the game up for them. And so, yeah, this fight only has a New Game Plus version for some reason. Alright, so Azelson took out the item user. That's perfect, because he's a huge chunk of their healing. Now, if only I can get over there and evac him, then we're solid. Come on, Azelson, get over here. Don't die. Would have been really great if you put your friggin' evade on, but, you know, whatever, come on. Stop getting in my way. Come on. No. No. Bad pirate. Alright, come on. Give me my turn. Almost. We're almost there. He's still got his evade up. It's either a caster or a multi-hit that can finish him off now. Perfect. Alright. Pirate boy, let's get you out of here. Good thing I didn't sell these yet. Wait. Son of a dick, does this... Hang on, I gotta test this. Is this because of evade? Really? Alright, so much for that plan. He's probably just dead here, but on the off chance that RNG decides to let a miracle happen, we're gonna set this up. Never mind. Just in case you're wondering, yeah, all we technically need out of this is a Buccaneer mark. And yes, I can get them somewhere else, but sure would be nice to get them here. For the moment, I'm just kind of gonna test to see how much the Bad Blood strategy does. See if I have the numbers right on this, because this should, for all intents and purposes, just ignore his defense. So we've got Strengthen, we've got Bad Blood, we got all that. Yeah, 345. It's not bad, it's doable. Yeah, for theory's sake, let's see if we can fight our way out of here. Don't have any off-turn heals for any classes, unfortunately. You know, it might be time to bring the old Rune Fencer out of retirement. It seems like we're relying on a lot of really high dice rolls here. Yeah, that's not really the way I want to go about it. Let's give Spears a try. There is another idea that I want to give a shot. Alright, so what I want to give a go here is I want to see if I turn off their healer. See if maybe that'll do the trick. It does decent enough damage still. I might be able to damage multiple units. Got a little bit higher evasion, not that that's really been mattering here. Seems like if he rolls high on that Rending Gale, he can finish off the rogue over there. So Charybdis would be able to slow these guys down a bunch. This can finish off that guy. We need so much parry to be able to pull this off. Man, the AI, the endgame AI is just so douchey with those bags. They'll gladly put themselves in a terrible position just to make sure you can't get your loot. Like, I assume the higher the value, like, an item is, or maybe the higher level it is, or something. There has to be some kind of thing they roll there. Because, like you saw there, they gladly put themselves in a position where they would get hit in the frickin' back if they, you know, if they decided to sit there and they're like, no, I need this loot! You can't have this loot! It's my loot! So, it's kind of frustrating, but oh well. Alright, let's test out a vest approach here, see how well that works. Actually, let's try vest and helm, actually. And yes, I know, we keep running into these. It's because I keep trying to get all kinds of different stuff. If you're wondering what the deal is for this one, like why I would even try to use it, essentially they've got Gunblades and they've got Evade. It's not as necessarily useful as like Lord or whatever else in some cases, but it's basically higher damage with potential for other options. So like, for example, in one-on-one situations, I would say Buccaneer is probably the best. As far as group fights, not necessarily, but for a lot of cases, the Buck will be very handy. It's like I've been saying, with the two-handers, like their main purpose is kind of that it's for cases where they need to take stuff out in one hit. He basically loses some of that one-hit potential, but then comes in with the options for evade and a few other moves that he isn't really showing off here. Let's see. Can I evac him now? No. Why does this not work on him? wonder if Rakes can clarify why that doesn't work on him. There were a couple of fights that I know was intentional that it wouldn't work. Like, he specifically made them immune to it, I think. Let me go ahead and ask him before I forget. There we go. Put the message in. Let's see what the response is. We already did our move here. I'm going to hit this guy with a silence because they're probably going to waste a turn trying to fix that. Damage won't necessarily do very much to him. Right. Could you stop rolling 40%, please? This is where it's supposed to be, like, that moment where it's, like, really impressive or whatever else, like, especially in the vanilla game there. It's like, oh, look at this guy, he's taking out all these high-level dudes and rolling all these parries and everything, but no, he doesn't have the skills to pull that off at all. In all honesty, they probably should have brought him in at friggin' rank 6 or whatever. Yes, he would have been overpowered, but it's the only way to make the stupid fight work. Seriously, no clue what they were thinking with this. It's like 2 parry, 3 swords at the very end of the game is not going to be... This is not super impressive. Evade keeps him going, but yeah. What are we kidding here? He is not set up to win this fight. Like, they could have handled this several different ways. For one thing, if they just had these guys up in front, okay, this would have been a cool story fight. But then they're like, no, we need these 5 back here because they need more help, apparently. Because they had a friggin' army just standing by. It's like, excuse me, rando pirate guy with your random pirate army that's sitting here getting trash-talked in the middle of a town. And apparently they're spread out all over the place. I mean, even from the map design, you can tell this is supposed to be that fight from FFT. But, eh. It's just, they don't do it right here. Like, even the FFT version ended up working out better just because they kept a lot of, I guess, scene consistency there. So, for one thing, like, these guys are just going about their everyday lives, right? So, like, the crossbows, stuff like that, I can understand why they're carrying this stuff around. You're telling me this guy just has a shield and poison claws on him at all times. In the original, it was just like, I think he had just claws, but still, he just has that on him at all times. He just walks around with this stuff. The guards, I can understand on the sides here. The casters, I guess they don't really need anything, but in general, I don't know. It just seems weird that the entire town decides to show up and kill this guy for trash-talking a random pirate when the entire point is supposed to be that it's an entire town just full of this stuff. You'd think somebody would get on their case for causing a fight. Let's give this one more try. Worst case scenario, we come in super over-leveled. That potentially creates another problem of its own. But you know, that might be the interesting way to do it. See, there's the option for just power leveling this thing all the way up to 50. Main benefit that we'd get out of that is because a lot of these fights are locked into a maximum level, even under the best of scenarios. And that includes the temple fights, actually. We'd be able to get a hell of a lot of extra background stats off of, what am I thinking here? Off of, like, cards and things like that. Plus, I guess it would give an excuse to test out some other weapons, too. I could probably get axes all the way up. Now, you might be wondering why the hell axes all of a sudden. Like, you've gone through pretty much the entire weapon pool. What do you want? So, yeah, and I think we're just going to go about it that way. Grind time! Not that it's necessarily the best way to do it, but whatever. Now, what I'm thinking with the axes, they've got breach. That's not something that you tend to get out of a lot of places, so if he were to, say, counter, get a breach, then follow it up with a finisher, that would be ridiculous. So it's one of those things that tends to be, well, really, really strong. So we need about 3,600 or whatever. So, let's see what we got to sell. See if we got enough to just buy it outright right now. By the way, for any folks that are looking at this that are going through OV for the first time, don't overlook circlets. That little accuracy bonus might not seem like much, but functionally speaking, if you've played XCOM before, like the new XCOM, it's basically the scope. They're very handy. Okay, yeah, I have way more than enough. Actually, way more than I expected. Alright. Let's go get some of them Axie-type situations. Might be able to use some other classes to train this up a little bit. But I think for the time being, we'll just go for the Tabar Zin here. And just go for full defense. Actually, how on earth do I not have a Balder plate? If we're gonna buy that armor, what are you doing? Yeah, hammers and cudgels. Cudgels might have some very specific uses. Hammers, I mean, they're good for stun, they're good for getting past armor, but that hasn't been as much of an issue. Alright. Hang on, right back.